We're gonna try this again. I'm trying to get this stupid thing to read, starting at chapter 3, and it's not working.
Talk back on.
I'll figure it out.
Drive. Magnus numerous drum. Magnus numerous drum. Equals setter in numer L 2 3 moves 2 eke sing liber at cantot pulsat ploratit areftit vidit it venet marci section iulium pulsat quinel section dot iulig the number can also be genitive 11 for tenses are magnus numerus servorum est it equivalent to same meaning as posi liberf numerus up the Romans only knew the northern part of the there is only 158. It goes on, ceterf j, the other s recurs several of the 35 capitula 80, etc. The Latin expression, the following items: Marcus British pound, Quintus Julia, or 3. The conversation at the end, the adjectives move to the person speaking or the person spoken to respectively, like English. My and your. On page 16 you come across margin. Case to the picture of the two books. Scroll with the text, liber, another masculine. Chapter 3.
Oh, come on, just read.
Now that you have been introduced to the family, you are going to watch some of their doings. We begin with the children. They were very much the same in ancient times as they are today. So we are not surprised to learn that Julius and Emilia's children cannot always get on together. Here little Julia is the first to suffer because she is annoying her big brother. Peace is not restored until mother and father step in. Several of the new words in this chapter are verbs. A verb, Latin verbum, is a word that expresses an action or a state that someone does something or that something exists or takes place. The cantot in the opening sentence, Julia cantot. Other verbs are pulsat, plorat, areftit, vidit, vocat, venit, etc. They all end in t, like s, which is also a verb, and mostly come at the end of the sentence. The ftr of the two words in the sentence Julia cantot denotes the person who performs the action. Other sentences of the same kind are Julia plorat, Marcus ride, Emilia venit, Pater dormit, ll 9, 10, 21, 37. But it is not always as simple as this. Take for instance the sentence that is illustrated by the little drawing in the margin, Marcus/Ulium pulsat 8. Here we are told not only who performs the action, but also who the action is aimed at. The same pattern is seen in the following sentences, also illustrated by pictures, Quintus Marcum vidit, Quintus Marcum pulsat, Marcus Quintum pulsat, Julia Emilium vocat. 12.
I think that's the end of that page.
Page 6.
Okay, hopefully this thing
As you
will
see,
just
the name
read.
of the person who performs the action, the so-called subject of the verb, has one of the well-known endings us and a, whereas. The name of the person toward whom the action is directed, the object, takes the ending or am. In other words, Jilig underscore is changed to Jilium when we are told that Marcus hits her, just as Mark becomes March F2 exclamation mark when he is the victim. In similar circumstances, Pu/LG underscore changes to Puel LLJ and Pure 2. Pure 2 exclamation mark J1 and qualifying adjectives get the same ending, Marcus Parv W. Puelum puisat, Julius per HF2 exclamation mark improb F2 exclamation mark verberat. Thus with the help of the endings we distinguish in Latin between the sub and the object of the verb. The forms in us and a, which characterize the subject, are called nominative, Latin nominativus, and the forms in and am, which denote the object, are called accusative, Latin accusativus. Verbs like pulsat, vidit, vocat, which are used with an object in the accusa tive, are called transitive, and verbs without an object, e.g. plorat, venit, dar, mit, are intransitive verbs. Instead of accusatives in m and you sometimes fmd em and um, e.g. Julia plorat quia Marcus gg2 exclamation mark puisat and sir Julius quintum non audit. Ju. Leos Jim. Non audit, quia dormit, ll 27, 43, the colon in the marginal note. Julium means that here stands for Jolium. A word of this kind, which takes the place of a name or noun, is called a pronoun, Latin pro. Nomen, from pro instead of a nomen name or noun. Corresponding to and the pronoun me is used when a person is speaking about him or herself, and te is used about the person spoken to in English me. And you, Amelia, quis me vocat. Quintus, Julia British pound vocat ll 24-25. The interrogative particle cur is used to ask about the cause, Latin causa. A question introduced by cur calls for an answer with the causal conjunction. Quia, English because, cur Julia plorat. Julia plorat, fj Marcus em. Puisat. Sir Marcus Julium pulsat. Cake Julia cantat, ll 26-27, 30-31. When the identity of the subject is known, because the context shows who it is, it need not be repeated or replaced by a pronoun in a following sentence. Ubius Julius. Cur non venit. L36, Julius non audit, quia dormit. L43, cur mater Marcum verberat. Marcum verberat, quia purem. Probus est L58. In English we use the pronouns he and she. The conjunctions at and said are not combined with a negation instead of et. Non and said non, the conjunction neque, nike, is used, i.e. k attached to. The original negation ni equals non, Julius dormit neque coventum audit. Julius. Venit, neque ilia vidit in English and not, but not. In the sentence poret I parvam puellum pulsat improbus est, I63, cofis. The relative pronoun, which refers to pure. At the end of the chapter, p23. You find sentences with both the interrogative and the relative pronoun, e.g. Kek est pure et iraide. In the feminine the two pronouns are identical. Qua est puella jl2 exclamation mark L section dot plorat. The relative que refers to puella. The rogative pronoun quis is quem in the accusative, quem vocat quintus. Quintus jolium vocat. As a relative pronoun quem is used in the masculine. And quam in the feminine, por quem Emilia verberat est Marcus. Quella. Quam Marcus pulsat est Julia. The examples show that quof and quem, m, refer to a masculine noun, and que and quam, f, to a feminine noun. In. Cap. For 175, you will meet quad, which refers to a neuter noun, baculum. Quad in mensae est. 13. Elessa tuum am. Subject, object, verb. Marcy section ioli J3 exclamation mark pulsat mf. Nominative.
Okay, it's reading the side margins. I'm not gonna read the side margins.
Page 17 of 53.
Oh, that's the end of chapter 3. Awesome.
Page.
Okay, well, I guess that part is done. I'm gonna find something else to do. I gotta get this thing to shut up first. It won't, do anything.
Accessibility.
Oh, there it is.
Talk back off.
Alright, so that's the reading. I thought I read that once, but I don't remember. I think today we're gonna go through the 3rd section of the chapter. I have a little bit of written homework to do. I have to run through some recitation memory stuff. I did look at some stuff on the YouTube with the Lord's Prayer. Just listening to that chanted version and spoken version, and just to kind of get some other, insights. One of the neat things I learned was that hodie is a combination of two words of hoc and die, which means this day. I shared that with Magister, and he's like, congratulations, we learned something new. So, yeah, that was a neat little tidbit. I forget what channel that's from, but the person was talking about the Lord's Prayer, and he had mentioned that, so it's nice to learn about the grammar. That some of it is way beyond my comprehension right now, but it is still neat to kind of get acquainted with some of that. So, I need to get my stuff ready and, head over to finish the rest of my Latin stuff. So, yeah. See you when I see you again.